What features can you identify in this audio-visual text on vaping? You can check out the further materials link below to watch the text. It only takes 30 seconds. It's an advertisement from New South Wales on anti-vaping. You need to watch it twice because that's usually what you'll be given, only to view twice during the SAC, a written SAC, so we better practice those ways. Just see what you can do. Okay, so I viewed it twice, so it's all a bit rough, and here are all the points that I noticed. Right, so I'm looking at what sort of audio-visual features. You will receive a transcript, which is the written record of what's said for whatever audio-visual text or audio text you receive. Okay, so I'm doing this without a transcript, just what I wrote down. First of all, I noticed, and I could well be wrong, 5 subjects, people, commenting on vaping, and they were in different locations. I think one was at home, one seemed to be at work, one was in a skate park, I think, but I didn't notice much more. They spoke about 3 things, just in little short, sharp, edited clips. Short, sharply edited clips. It's a very fast one. Okay? They spoke about their feelings, vaping habits maybe. They spoke about their symptoms, health symptoms, poor health symptoms. And they spoke about consequences. So they spoke about the 3 things, if I just say A, B, C. Then there were 2 medical experts, and they pointed out the harms. They used a very serious tone, concerned, and I think ominous, which is like a warning tone. And then it finished with a slogan, and that was every vape is a hit to your health. Okay? I think the point here is not to focus on your memory so much, but to focus on what you're looking for with audiovisual features here. So I haven't got much about intonation, stress, anything like that. I've sort of got the language seems informal with the subjects, very formal and with an ominous tone with the medical experts, and that presents a contrast as well. And people from different walks of life, although they all seem to be in the same age bracket to me, but I'm not 100% sure. And very clearly, very clear contention and message. So here we're looking at arguments again, or points, main points of the argument, with, the very central message or contention that every vape is a hit to your health. It's bad for you. This is section 2, knowledge and skills for analysing persuasive texts. And this lesson is on audio and audiovisual texts. What's in this lesson? We have audio and audiovisual text moving images and their role in analysis, overview of audio and audiovisual features, audio and audiovisual features explained, and some sample camera shots. You probably know them, but just to remind you, the most relevant study design dot points for this lesson: identify, analyse and apply the role of visuals to support and enhance argument, the features of print and digital, audio and audiovisual text, we're looking at these guys, intonation, volume, pace, pausing, stress used when presenting a point of view in audio and audiovisual texts, and of course using relevant meta-language. I want to point out here too that in section 4, oral presentations, we'll have a lot more on audio text features. Let's look now at audio and audiovisual text and their role in analysis. An audio text is a spoken recording of a piece of writing or the part of a script or text that is to be spoken. For example, a speech or a podcast. An audiovisual text is a text that uses both sight and sound, typically in the form of images, still and or moving. And and recorded speech and or music soundscape. For example, a video or a film clip. VCA says that you are expected to identify and analyse the features of print, audio and audiovisual text in your written analysis. And very high performance descriptor for the written SAG says examine subtle connections between visual and or audio features and the implications of these features in relation to persuading the intended audience. How do we analyse audio and audio visuals? So when we analyse, we need to say how audio visual features such as intonation, volume, pace, pausing, stress, music, etc. are used and the likely effect on the attended audience. When you analyse audio-visual texts, you need to say how both the audio features listed above and the audio-visual features, which include actors' movements, body language, location, camera shots, angles, how they all combine to persuade audience and their likely impact on the intended audience. You'll be given transcripts for audio and audio-visual text. These are written print copy of the spoken words. Now, a transcript may be partial or complete. You might only be given a partial clip. It depends on what your school chooses for your written SAG. Meta-language, as we know, vocab and terms used to describe and define language. What we have here is an overview of audio and audio-visual features. Not exhaustive, but hopefully the most common ones. So we have audio on the left-hand side and visual on the right-hand side. Audio, words spoken, dialogue, intonation, volume, pace, pausing, stress, voice-over narration, ambient noise, which is background noise, music and leitmotifs, special effects, and visual, location, costume and makeup. Can make something seem formal or informal. Lighting and colour, subject or actor or talent. Camera shots, camera angles, camera movement, editing, and whether or not subtitles are used. Now let's look at some audio and audiovisual features, more specifically in groups. So this first one, we've got dialogue, intonation and volume, pausing and stress. So we've got key features here of audio, and dialogue can be an audio-visual as well. All of them can be. So we have here dialogue, description, words spoken. They may be scripted or unscripted. How it persuades. It can introduce, emphasise or reiterate important points. Can help connect, especially if the person speaking sounds familiar to the audience, like a regular newsreader. Intonation and volume. Intonation is the rise and fall of your voice. Volume, how loud or soft it is. Both of these can be used to emphasise or reiterate certain points to the audience. It can also help establish an audience perception of the speaker. For example, if a speaker lacks intonation and is sort of monotonal, it can be very boring and off-putting. Likewise, if a speaker seems like they're shouting at the audience, that can be off-putting as well, and you don't listen to the message. Pausing and stress. A pause is simply an interval of silence. Stress emphasises the certain words, and it can be demonstrated by speaking more quietly, slowly, loudly than before. That gives stress. Of course, if you are speaking loudly all the time, you tend not to have any variation in stress, and it has no effect. Both pausing and stress can be used, once again, to emphasise importance of words. One of the very clear examples is often speakers will pause before introducing a new point. Other audio and audio-visual texts. Let's look at voice narration, subtitles, music and leitmotifs, and ambient noise. So voice-over narration and subtitles. The voice-over narration, firstly, is a production technique where a voice, which may not be part of the narrative, is used to describe an action or a story. So it might not be a character in a story. It might be someone completely different. Subtitles are the captions at the bottom of the screen that may translate language or describe action. And sometimes this appears like in a banner mode across the bottom of news scripts. They may add additional information, both voiceover and subtitles. And they might add more context too. They can also, voiceover narration can also connect with the audience if the voice is familiar to the audience. Maybe even someone from the same age level, something like that. Music and leitmotifs. Music, of course, combination of sounds, vocal, instrumental, which express ideas and emotion. This can really appeal and enhance how it persuades, enhance the emotion of an audience, especially if it's a well-known piece of music that's associated with funerals, celebrations, national anthems, things like this. And also within that, we have what's called a leitmotif. Motifs are repeated signs, symbols, things like that. A leitmotif was almost specific to music. It's a repeating melodic phrase that is used to represent a character, a theme, or an emotion. And one of the clearest examples I can think of for this is the leitmotif from the Jaws films, where you have the shark, and the shark's got his own motif, creates this tension and danger, and it's well known. I think for a leitmotif to work, the audience has to know what it is and recognise it. Ambient noise is sometimes called wild track or atmos, and it's the background noise that is seen at a location. Often it's enhanced anyway, but having that background noise there can actually enhance the point of view. So we can have busy street noises with, trams and cars going by to exacerbate perhaps a problem of noise pollution, and that could be contrasted to parks where you have the sounds of beautiful birds, etc. More audio and audio visual features. We have SFX, location, costume and makeup. SFX, special effects, production techniques that enhance visual and or sound elements. CGI is an example of one of these. Can add realism to the situation in a bid to persuade audience, or it can heighten the effects of realism, I think, which is probably a CGI case. Location is quite simply the place where filming is taking place. This can be exterior or interior on a constructed set. Depending on the issue, an exterior location may feel more authentic. For example, a politician film discussing environmental damage by a man on a beach littered with plastic bags and bottles will have a greater impact on the audience than if we just had a politician talking at an interior setting, just in a chair. Costume and makeup worn by the subject or actor can indicate formality, informality, an era, a prejudice, can promote a cause, etc. It's often underrated. So, for example, when we have the Plibersek video post, it's interesting to look at what Tanya Plibersek is wearing and how it's consciously chosen not to detract and to actually add to the tone and the nature of the message. The costume and the makeup can connect with the audience. And it can promote the seriousness. So, for example, if you have a uniformed police commissioner stating facts and giving opinions on a news clip, it signals a very serious concern. Let's look now at lighting and colour, subject, actor or talent, and some camera shots. Lighting and colour. Lighting is the illumination of the subject and includes direction of the lighting and the strength. Colour helps create mood, symbolises emotions and values. For example, we know that white represents goodness and purity. Both lighting and colour can be used to create mood, to expose detail. Light will do that. And provide visual information which influences the audience, sometimes without their awareness at all. Subjects and actors or talent, they're the who. The actor, the newsreader, the politician, celebrity, animal, etc. And it includes their body language, acting and dialogue. That's a great big area there. Obviously, connection with the audience is paramount here, and for that to happen, the subject or actor needs to be authentic, appealing, and the situation needs to resonate with the audience. Camera shots, lots of them. Extreme close-up, for example, a nostril on someone's face. Close-up, headshot. Mid-shot from the waist up. A long shot shows the whole body but not too much of the surroundings, and an extreme long shot, sometimes called a wide shot, shows subject and surrounds. We use extreme close-up, for example the nostril, to create intrigue, like what is that, woo. Close-ups, headshots used for intimacy. Extreme long shots can provide audience with context, like where are we? Often it's location. Camera angles, camera movement, and editing. Camera angles, I'm sure you've done all these before. You know, we have the eye level. Eye level makes audience feel connected with the subject. A high camera angle looking down conveys a subordinate position. This is when the camera looks down, that means we have the person is actually looking up. So looking up at the subject, and it makes the audience feel inferior. A low camera angle looking up conveys a position of power. So I'm sure you know these ones. There's not too much of an opportunity to analyse really, really in depth, but it may happen that you need to mention it. Camera movement includes a crane shot, which is often aerial shots, handheld, sometimes that's wobbly cam, and panning probably is one I'm thinking of when we're talking about an environmental situation, a news clip, often they'll pan, which means the camera rotates horizontally from a fixed position to show the surrounds. All these provide context and enhance the location, makes the vision feel more authentic, so the audience feels part of the action and maybe makes them more responsive. Editing is simply the arranging, not simply because it's difficult, arranging images and sound to tell a story. This includes freeze frame, montage, where we have lots of clips of lots of things, voiceovers, subtitles, everything like that. It's all edited together. Sound enhancement, ambient noise, everything. And it's very, very important. When you saw at the vaping ad, 30 seconds, that's a lot of editing to have 5 vapors, 2 medical experts, and weave it all together. Editing can encourage the audience to accept a presented point of view, and it can choose to emphasise an idea, subject or product. Let's demonstrate some camera shots, just to remind you here, and a visual reminder. So let's have ECU, extreme close-up, and this is a nostril. I'll just put a bit of a nose around it. Okay, that's a very bad nostril. Okay, then we have a close-up, and this is just a headshot, maybe a bit of neck. Then we can have like a mid-shot. Remember, this close-up is, ECU is intrigue. What is that? Certainly from my drawing, hard to tell what is that. A close-up, intimacy. A mid-shot, sort of friendly stuff, like about the waist up. There's a waist, a couple of arms. And then let's have a long shot, which generally includes the whole body, maybe not many of the surrounds. So if we had a frame, it might be like that. And an extreme long shot, often called wide shot, extreme wide shot, might have this same one. So we've got the whole body, but we know where the person is. So we've got them in the trees, and maybe there's a dog there. Okay, so this provides more context. Now it's your turn. Which of these audio and audiovisual features best matches the following definition? You need to choose which one. So my response to the first multiple choice activity, the word spoken, which may be scripted or unscripted, is A, dialogue. Second multiple choice activity, which of these audiovisual features best matches the following definition? A production technique where a voice that may not be part of the narrative, or it may, is used to describe an action or story. C, voiceover narration. The third multiple choice activity, which of these audiovisual features best matches the following definition? And the third multiple choice activity response, arranging images and sound to tell a story, is C, editing. Okay, so now let's recap or revisit audio-visual text. Do you remember the vaping 30-second or anti-vaping ad? If you don't, you can download again and view it again, or twice, whatever's needed. But a good idea this time to divide it into audio and visual features. See if we can just discern it even a little better. There'll be a bit of crossover there as well. So what we had here, audio, we had talent or people, actors, we don't know if they were or not, speaking directly to the camera. Okay, so we didn't have someone interviewing them. They speak directly to the camera, so it's more immediate. That's the effect of that. Just teasing this out a bit further. We have medicos or medical experts as well. They were speaking directly to the camera, once again not interviewed. We can say that it is fast-paced. Hell of a lot goes into this ad. There's no music. Why is there no music? Because they want you to concentrate on the words, on the message. So we could say that the no music emphasises the dialogue. And for the visual, we have some hints of location, and I think they're added to add to the authenticity. So we have, for example, the medicos are speaking in offices. That would be an example of that. We have subtitles, of course, and we put the editing here, but the editing really goes in both of it. The editing in this commercial is very sharp. There is a hefty lot of content, strong message, and argument points, really succinctly presented. And of course, what we have here too is our central message or contention. Every vape is a hit to your health, and it's presented as a slogan. So we can see here how we can tease out just the why and the effect of things, these audio-visual features. So in a nutshell, this lesson we have audio text, spoken recording of a piece of writing, or it might be impromptu and then the transcript's given to you later. Audio-visual text, a text that uses both sight and sound, typically in the form of images, still or moving, and recorded speech or music and music, soundscape. We have key features of audio and visual text roughly divided. Remember, there is some crossover, particularly with the editing. And there's lists of those there. Don't forget, you need to know what transcript is, the old favourite meta language, and make sure you use it. And what's coming up in the next lesson, tone and tonal shift.